every object in
Yeah.
here is a story and it's beautiful. It's like a museum in here.
People don't buy collectibles and stuff because of what they are. They buy it because what the story is behind it.
I personally think the pawn shop business is probably the best business model there is.
It's the oldest form of banking.
A lot of people don't know this, but something like 7 million households in the US don't have a bank account, that they use pawn shops and, payday loans.
Right around 20% of the adult population cannot get a bank account. If you have bad credit, you can't even get a bank account. I've had guys call me a motherfucker. I mean, I've had so many people when I tell them, like, no, your stuff is fake, start cussing me out because I'm trying to rip them off. Well, how the fuck am I trying to rip you off? I just told you I don't want it because it's fake.
This isn't your average business podcast, and he's not your average host. This is the James Altucher Show.
Well, Rick, we're on the set of Pawn After Dark and on the set of Pawn Stars, the TV show you've been doing. How many seasons has been going on now?
20 something.
20. How many shows, seriously, how many reality shows or any shows have gone for 20 seasons?
I don't know of any, any with the same cast anyway. Like, you have like Survivor or whatever like that, but the cast changes all the time. But I don't know. I think we're like, like the same characters, same exact format and everything like
Yeah.
that. I think it's got to be the longest lasting show. I would think we've done like 750 episodes.
750 episodes. And do you ever are like, oh my, you wake up and you're like, oh my God, I got to do another episode of that series
No, I
again?
absolutely love my job.
That's great.
I'm one of the most spastic, weird people you ever met. I mean, like sleep 4 or 5 hours a night. I always have to stay busy, but no, I mean, I do okay. If I didn't need the money, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I don't need the money. If I need it, I could retire tomorrow and live a very, very comfortable life, but I still like doing it.
Just walking in here, walking in your store, seeing the people out there, seeing all the things, it's almost like this kid-like feeling of excitement. Like everything is a story. Every object in
Yeah.
here is a story and it's beautiful. It's like a museum in here.
I mean, people don't buy collectibles and stuff because of what they are. They buy it because what the story is behind it. I don't know. I mean, like, I have like a cowboy hat out there, and like, it's this not a cowboy hat, okay? It's Benny Binion's cowboy hat. I mean, one of the most famous gangsters in Las Vegas history. The guy who started the World Series of Poker. The guy, I think he had like 2 murder convictions, but they were both suspended sentence. One of the crazy cowboys downtown that the mob was afraid of. That's why the mob was on the strip and they wouldn't go downtown because the crazy cowboys downtown. I mean, and you just go on the whole story about something like that. So they're buying the story, not the cowboy hat.
It's almost like you should make a giant website of this store, and everything you click on, you see the whole story of that object.
That'd be a lot of work.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of work.
Yeah,
You have
yeah, and
millions
I
of
wouldn't make
objects
no
in here.
money off it.
Like, just for listeners who might not know, I personally think the pawn shop business is probably the best business model there is. It's like you lend money, you keep the collateral, and you're always doing it at such a discount to the value that you're going to be able to make money on it, ideally. So, like, maybe you could explain just a little bit. I know this is like really basic for you, but what is the pawn shop business?
I'll take your average pawn shop, okay? So, like, so you come in here, you have a Rolex. You need some money for the weekend, okay? Rolex might be worth 10 grand, okay? I mean, retail 10 grand. That's what I could sell it for. But you, on the other hand, maybe only want 500 bucks because that's all you need. So I loan you 500 bucks. You come back a month later, pay me 550. You pick up your watch.
So it's like 10% a
Yeah,
month.
yeah, yeah. If you don't pay me back, there's no, I'll still do business with you. You're not going to get a bad mark on your credit score or anything else like that. It's the oldest form of banking.
And then
Okay.
how long does it take before, and I'm sorry, these are going to be basic questions, but I'm just fascinated by the model. How long does it take for the Rolex to become yours? Like, do they have to default
Okay.
2 or 3 times?
If you don't pick it up 90 days, it's mine. Usually I give my customers a little bit more time. But and if you don't pick it up, it becomes mine. Just it's the way Nevada law works. And title reverts to me. And it's like I said, just really simple banking. Doesn't go against your credit, anything else like that. It's just you lost your collateral.
And a lot of people don't know this, but something like 7 million households in the US don't have a bank account, that they use pawn shops and, payday loans.
Yeah. I think payday loans are like the worst thing in the world. But like, yeah,
Yeah, because it's huge interest rate if you annualize it.
if you don't pay them, they take you to court, or they
Yeah,
garnish your wages and everything. If you don't pay me, I just take the collateral, it's done.
right, because you have the collateral. That's why it's so great. You don't have to chase anybody.
No, it's more than 7 million households. It's probably it's right around 20% of the adult population cannot get a bank account. If you have bad credit, you can't even get a bank account.
I didn't know that.
When you go to get a bank account, I forget the name of the system. They run you through a particular system, and if you've previously had a bank account, you bounced a lot of checks, and you basically cost the bank money, you're not going to be able to get a bank account. And it's over 20 million people can't get a bank account in this country. They can't get a credit card, anything else like that. If you don't have a bank, you don't have an ATM card, you need cash on the weekends, you come to a pawn shop. And up until the 1950s, um, pawn shops were just a part, just a fact of life and part of the community. I mean, like the number one form of consumer finance up to the 1950s was pawn shops.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean, so like, before there was credit cards, before there was ATMs, um, before you could go to, you know, it was just remember back on. You're not as old as me, but I remember where a world where everything was closed on Sunday. If you needed some cash, it was the only place you could go. You couldn't go to the bank and get a $50 loan.
So it sounds like all those it's not just the unbanked, like someone with a Rolex, who needs like $1,000 on the weekend. Like, how many people are also just quietly well-to-do, but kind of get their financial needs satisfied here at the pawn shop?
It's a lot more people than you would think that just need money. I mean, how do you think pawn shops get so many Rolexes?
Yeah, why is that? I don't know.
Okay, just suppose you're a lawyer. Okay, and you do pretty well. All right. But I don't know, you got everything sort of crashed out around you. Where are you going to go get some money? You're not going to go to your friends because it's going to be embarrassing. You go to the pawn shop.
Yeah,
Okay. And if things don't get better, you don't pick your watch up from the pawn shop.
right. And then you don't think about it again. It's just
Yeah.
gone. And how do you know what the right price is to pay? So let's say someone comes in and top retail price, like if you buy it on the website or something, the Rolex website, it's $20,000. What are you paying for it max?
Okay. Well, the Rolex business is just completely different than that because you cannot go into like, you can go like to the forum shops on the strip, one of the most successful malls in the United States. And you walk into the Rolex store, there's no Rolexes for sale. You go in the Rolex store and you put your name on a waiting list for 4 years. So
Yeah,
the Rolex world is really, really weird when it comes to that. But when I buy something, it's generally yeah, kind of just a weird formula in my head. Um, say it's a piece of art, and it might be a little weird piece of art. So you have a very small portion of the population that's going to buy it. It's also going to take up real estate on the wall and everything like that. And it might take me 2 or 3 years to sell it. I'm gonna probably offer you 25 cents on the dollar what I think I'm gonna sell it for, because it's gonna sit around for 3, 4 years, and maybe even longer, and then if it's sitting around for a while, I'm gonna massively discount it. But if you bring me a gold bar that I can sell immediately, I'll pay you 1 or 2% below spot, make 1 or 2% off you because I literally can pick up the phone the second I buy it and sell it.
do you get a lot of like people with engagement rings coming in? Like an engagement didn't work out, the
Oh,
girls got the
yeah,
engagement
I
ring.
mean, yeah, I get, uh, diamond yeah, remember, like, well, like 45% of weddings end in divorce, and they're not going to wear that ring no more.
Right.
Yeah.
This is what I always wonder. Why would someone ever buy like a diamond ring in Tiffany's when they can go to a pawn shop and probably buy it for the same ring for 50, 60% less?
Yeah, because believe it or not, if you go into you go to Fifth Avenue, the most prestigious jewelry stores they have there, there's a very good chance all those diamonds and those rings came from a pawn shop. Because there's no such thing as a used diamond. This is federal law. This is Federal Trade Commission. There's no such thing as a used diamond. Because what's the difference between a diamond and a diamond in someone's ring and a new diamond? Nothing. Nothing. It's diamonds don't wear. The diamonds
Right.
don't get worn out.
Right. So you don't
So
have to disclose, oh, this
so
is
like,
used.
back when I didn't have money, I mean, like, like when I first started off, I'd have cash rushes and stuff like that. I'd gather up a bunch of diamonds in the case, I'd fly to New York, go to the diamond district, sell them. Okay. I would deal with that nightmare. And that's where all the jewelry stores go to buy their diamonds. They go to the diamond district.
And so they're paying higher than what you paid because
Oh
they got a
yeah, no. So
markup.
I'd go wholesale them, and then I'd sell them to a wholesaler, and the wholesalers sell them to jewelry stores.
And then they're selling it for retail for like three
Yeah,
times
yeah,
what you
yeah.
paid
Well,
for it.
no, it's the same thing with everything.
if I'm buying an engagement ring, I could just come here to begin with
Yeah,
and buy it. So why doesn't everybody go to pawn shops to buy their jewelry?
not because they don't know better or like, they think,
I
well, no,
feel like they do know better though.
I wouldn't buy my ring at a pawn shop. You know what I mean?
So it's like a stigma.
Yeah, a little bit to a stigma. I mean, it was really in the 60s and the 70s, there was like, suddenly pawn shops got portrayed as like this bad place. Um, but like I said, number one form of consumer credit was pawn shops until the 1950s. Uh, Believe it or not, Charlie Chaplin's breakout movie was The Pawnbroker.
Oh, I didn't know that.
If you ever get a chance to see it, it's really, really funny. Yeah. Someone comes in with like, those big alarm clocks that you wind up in the back. It's just classic Charlie Chaplin. He winds it up, it doesn't work, and takes a can opener, opens the back, starts taking it all apart, and then he can't put it back together, so he just pushes all the parts in front of him and go like, "No, I don't want it." But
That is
you
funny.
have to watch it. It's really fun. It's actually to this it's a great thing about Charlie Chaplin to this day, it's still funny.
And now, what about lab grown diamonds? How has that affected the business in the past few years?
Not really. I mean, they're easy,
Are they easy to spot? Like the difference between that? It's not zirconium,
I
it's
got
like
an
real diamonds.
I got $8 or $9,000 machine sitting up front. I put the diamond on, it goes like lab grown.
Huh.
The crystalline structure, it's weird,
But you
okay?
can't see it with the eye though.
No, the crystalline structure is a little bit different, and, it's very easy to detect.
So it's not really affecting the industry. Like people
No,
want the real thing.
no, everybody yeah, it's like it's really equivalent, like, I could sell you, like, um, you got real Picassos, you got fake Picassos, which one do we wanna buy?
Well, that is a good question because I do have a fake Picasso hanging up in my house. Like I got a collection of forged artworks that are really, really good, and it costs almost nothing.
Yeah.
So
Well, some people are cool that's why lab diamonds actually sell. Some people are, cool with the fake one, just like cubic zirconia and everything else, like, and moissanite. For years, people have bought them, but people also the majority of the people want the real thing.
yeah. And it's funny how, like, let's say it's like a Gucci handbag. You can't really tell the difference between a fake. The average person can't tell the difference between a fake. I mean, it comes out of the same factory, even in China. And yet people, there's some meaning, there's some psychological
Well, I mean,
value.
people want the real thing. I mean, like, if you take a Gucci bag or something like that, if you know what you're looking at, you can definitely tell the difference.
Mm.
Um, so, but people want the real thing.
Going online without ExpressVPN is like having sex without a condom. Most of the time, you might be fine, but the repercussions could be huge. I mean, every time you connect to an unencrypted network in a cafe, a hotel, an airport, your online data is not secure, and any hacker on the same network can gain access and steal your personal data, which like passwords, bank logins, credit card. I'm paranoid about this all the time, which is why it's so important to use a VPN like ExpressVPN. Look, your data is valuable. Hackers can make up to $1,000 per person selling personal info on the dark web. And ExpressVPN stops hackers from stealing your data by creating a secure, encrypted tunnel between your device and the internet. First off, ExpressVPN is super secure. It would take a hacker with a supercomputer over 1 billion years to get past ExpressVPN's encryption. It's easy to use. You just fire up the app and click one button and you get protected. Rated number one by top tech reviewers like CNET and The Verge. Whenever I go to an airport or like if I'm at a cafe with my computer or whatever, I flip the switch, turn on ExpressVPN to protect myself. It is so important for me to protect my personal data. It should be personally important to you as well. So secure your online data today by visiting expressvpn.com/Altucher, Altucher. That's expressvpn.com/Altucher to find out how you can get up to 4 extra months free. expressvpn.com/Altucher. And so, you've obviously been doing this for so long. You've been doing the TV aspect for so long, which means there's a lot of drama. And I feel like every time someone comes into this store, there's a story. Like you said, with the cowboy hat, there's a story.
Yeah.
So like what's maybe, I don't know, in all these seasons, what's maybe one of the most emotional stories you've seen where someone's selling you something that had so much meaning to them?
I don't know because I really don't care if it has meaning to them. I mean,
That's fair. Maybe that's how you
I
could
mean,
do
I've always
this.
told it's just stuff. I don't understand the sentimental attachment to it. I mean, it might be a little bit sentimental to somebody, but like at least you got stuff. What about the person who has no stuff and they're broke?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And so you're not a collector.
Oh, no, I got all sorts of bizarro shit. Yeah, I mean, I have the oldest stained glass window, in the United States in my house. I have a NASA rocket engine that was piloted
That's
by
cool.
Neil Armstrong. I have I have, like, books on, you know I have one book on how to try a witch.
How to try a witch?
How to bring to trial, yeah,
Oh, how
from
to
the
try like a
1600s, yeah.
trial.
Yeah. Yeah, the
That
proper way to bring a witch to trial. That's from the 1600s.
wow.
I have books on alchemy, how to turn, base metals into gold from, like, they're hundreds of years old. Um, I just got all kinds of weird stuff.
What rises to the level where you're like, "Oh, that's interesting for me."
I think it's just super cool. I mean, but, like, then again, I turn around, someone offers me enough money, I'll sell it. But, like, um,
Well, let me frame the question a different way in the sense that what's a customer where it's not emotional for you, but it was the most emotional you've seen someone react to parting with
oh no,
something?
I've had people crying their eyes out. I've had guys call me a motherfucker. I mean, I've had so many people when I tell them, like, no, your stuff is fake, start cussing me out because I'm trying to rip them off. Well, how the fuck am I trying to rip you off? I just told you I don't want it because it's fake. This is real. I'm going, like, why would I tell you it's fake if it's not fake? Up until, like, the 1950s, it was, middle America, you would have your silver people had, which is common. Like, middle America, they had dinner parties. Okay, you invite your friends over, they'd whip out the nice china, they'd whip out the nice silverware and everything else like that. Middle America, like, if you're just middle income, upper middle income, you couldn't afford sterling silver flatware. You had silver plated silverware. Everybody had it. Okay, but then it got handed down to their kids and their grandkids, and for some reason they starts thinking it's silver. And when I tell them no, it's silver plated and it's nice, but I don't want it. It's just, yeah, not for me. Well, you're like, this is real silver. This is my grandma's. I'm going, like, no. Or, like, or a woman has always been told that grandma had the perfect diamond. Then I tell them, like, no, grandpa was cheap. They don't want to believe it.
Yeah, I mean, there must be a lot of that, and but I'm wondering also, there must be a lot of people who they just need the money, and so they have to give up something that was incredibly sentimental to them
Yeah.
personally.
Sometimes, but a lot of the time it's just like, um, like, if your grandparents did have a little money, they'd have a real set of sterling silver flatware and stuff like that. And it gets willed to you. What the fuck are you going to do with it? Because no one uses any of that anymore. So they bring it to a place, a guy like me, and they get some cash, or that old china, or a lot of that's,
But
or that, or, like, grandpa dies, passes away, and he's got his fucking 1970s nugget bracelet.
guys, you've probably heard of Viagra or Cialis. Maybe you've even tried them. No judgment here from me. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, meet Rougiette Ready. And Rougiette is spelled R-U-G, like rug, and I-E-T. Other companies rely on similar ingredients to support blood flow, but Rougiette Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to help amplify arousal in the brain and increase blood flow. So it makes you excited in the brain and it increases the blood flow where it's important. And if the usual pills still aren't doing the trick, Rougiette Ready could be the answer. It's a 3-in-1 formula, dissolves under your tongue to absorb fast, so you'll be ready in just 15 minutes on average, not hours, and effects can last up to 36 hours. That means you can stay confident, present, and in control when the moment's right. And if you want proof, over 150,000 men have made the switch, and you could read their customer reviews right on the site. Getting started is simple. Rougiette connects you with a board certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships quickly to your door. Connect with your provider at rougiette.com/James. You got to use my special code, Rougiette, and I have worked out a deal. So rougiette.com, that's RUGIET.com/James, to see if a Rougiette Ready prescription is right for you. Just use code James to get 15% off. That's RUGIET.com/James and use promo code James to get 15% off today. Head to rougiette.com/James and use code James to get 15% off today. So if you use the code, you support the show, and it shows Rougiette that we sent you there. Now, individual results may vary with prescription treatment. Compounded drugs are permitted to be prescribed under federal law but are not FDA approved and do not undergo FDA safety, effectiveness, or manufacturing review. Please visit the Rougiette website for full safety information. But you know, it's interesting though, because so some things are have value because they're silver or they're gold or there's something measurable that has
Yeah.
international value to it. But some things are only valuable because of the story. Like that cowboy hat is not a $5 cowboy hat.
Yeah.
It's valuable. It's maybe worth thousands or maybe it's priceless because of the story behind it. Nothing's priceless, I get it, but
Yeah.
you know, but so how do you decide, particularly if you can't just sort of check on eBay, what is this worth? How do you decide what some memorabilia is worth that will satisfy the customer, but also you make money on it?
You got to be in the business for a long time, and you just got to sit around and say, like, how rare is it? How if there, there's no, I said there's none other in the market, but there's some, you got to start thinking, what a similar thing's gone for, and you just got to do, you got to do the weird math in your head, and it usually works out for me.
Yes, and but there's still a lot of things that like how long can you tolerate something not being sold after you bought it?
Uh,
Like when do you start to lose money on an object?
I'm sure I got stuff sitting around for 10 years, and I cuss myself for buying it, but like, it's part of the business. No risk, no reward. You know, like you have to when I buy something, I'm going like, I think it'll sell. If it doesn't sell, I'm stuck with it. And then I'll get to the point where I'll just start really dropping the price a lot.
Yeah, you start driving it down
I'll just start, yeah, start reducing the price till it sells.
until it sells. What's right now? What is the most expensive thing for sale?
I have no idea. I got some jewelry out there. It's a couple $100,000, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about in terms of a collectible?
I don't know. I got 45,000 different things in that in inventory. I mean, I have everything from, yeah, I got 400-year-old samurai swords. I mean, I have a coin just in the coin department over there. We just got a coin. We put an $80,000 price tag on. I don't
Well,
know.
how come? Like, well, what's the coin?
It's a 1865 $10 gold piece
And so why is that worth $80,000?
because it's a very rare coin. Because during the Civil War, we didn't make a lot of gold coins, and all the gold coins we were making were getting shipped overseas and getting melted down. And the reason why was no one knew who was going to win. Okay. So all foreign trade was done in either gold or silver during the Civil War because you didn't want to take our paper money.
Right.
Okay. You didn't want to take Union paper money and then suddenly the Union lose and that money's worth nothing. So all foreign trade was done in gold and silver. So the goods that we purchased from Europe or wherever were paid for in gold. And usually it was just what was done back then. You had gold coins that went to Europe were melted down and made into European coins.
Hmm.
So they're very, very rare. There's not a lot of them out there.
I see. And there are Civil War collectors
Well,
that
just coin collectors in general, yeah. Yeah,
eh,
but during the Civil War, we had a lot less coinage in this country. There was
so
a
so
shortage.
obviously to do this correctly, you have to be really fascinated and love history. If you didn't love
You
history, you couldn't
gotta
do
know
this.
history, and there's a lot of things you gotta know about a lot of things. There's a million things you need to know about coins just to make sure they're not fake.
Yeah, and and dollars also. Like I was looking at some of the dollars out there. Some of these older dollars are really beautiful. They're like works of art.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I mean, like, there was, like, in the 1890s, we had the education notes where they put great works of art on, there was a program by the government put great works of art on, paper money because the thinking was if someone lived on a farm in Kansas or a small town in Kansas, something like that, or some rural place, they would never get to a great art museum. So there was a movement to put, like, great works of art on money. So the populace that would never get to a museum in New York or Philadelphia would get to see great works of art. But then again, you had some politicians that ruined it all.
Well, and now the internet, you can just look at any great work of art online.
Well, yeah, we have a different world that we live in now. Yeah, so but there's nothing like seeing the stuff in person. You can see all the pictures online you want of like uh go to the Louvre and then you'll be in shock. There's nothing like seeing it in person.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And then, but do you think that Gen Z is less loyal to artifacts of the past? Like, yes, they like kind of the collectibles of their generation.
Every generation's different. When they get older, they'll appreciate more complicated things. You know, this whole thing with the Pokemon cards, I don't understand, but apparently they love them.
And do you think though, you think gold will retain its dominance as kind of the collectible metal of choice?
Well, no, I mean, gold has always been a store of value. I
Yeah.
mean, you can go back, you can go back 6,000 years. Gold was still the currency.
Why gold instead of silver? Why gold more than silver?
Because, well, first off, gold was one of the reasons why gold was so prized. It was the most malleable metal out there, and it's rare. It's rare. I mean, like, you're not gonna find you're not gonna cruise you're never gonna walk around somewhere with a metal detector and find yourself a 1,000-ounce gold bar a gold nugget or anything. There's a very limited supply of gold on Earth, and there will, and they mine so much a year, but it's always gonna be rare.
And so during this, obviously, you've been shooting this show. Where was the drama? Where do you think was the drama in terms of doing a show taking place in a pawn shop? You were the first one. There was a couple of kind of Me Too's afterwards.
I mean, everyone told me I should do it, but then, it was always like a media whore getting free press. It was always good for business, like that, nationally, even internationally. So I wanted to get the. I figured if I got a reality show, it'd be good for business. So pitched this show for 4 years, and then finally got on the air. And I was hoping for a season or two. I never thought that within a year would be the number one show on cable, and we're like 20 some seasons in now. And
What's the drama? What do you think it is that people like the most to see?
well, first off, it's a family show. All right. It's one of the few shows on television you can watch with your kids and your parents. You can have a whole
Yeah.
family there, sit there and watch it. Um, it's you get to laugh and learn a little bit. Um, it's a little bit also a little bit like a game show. I mean, first round, is it real? Second round, how much is it worth? Bonus round, I call it an expert. Um, but and it's always different. Okay, you get a show about motorcycles. There's only so much you can do to a motorcycle or a car or all these other shows. Um, it's always truly different, and I never have the you know I never have the crazy drama train wreck thing going on. It's always a fun family show. You get to learn a little bit. You get to laugh.
And I feel like in Las Vegas too, you have a much wider range of stories. Like, let's say you were a pawn shop outside of, I don't know, Detroit. It's not going to have the same range of personalities and people and
Yeah.
cultures and
Well, the
subcultures.
the whole thing, and then we were like when we first started filming, we were afraid we weren't going to have enough stuff walking the door. But once we got on television, people come from all around the world to try and sell me stuff.
So it was good for business.
Yeah, it's pretty good for business.
What was some of the drama that happened in the very first season where you said to yourself, this is going to work?
Oh, when I first saw the first episode, I thought it was terrible. I can't stand watching myself on TV. But um, you know what? It seems to work. People love the show. Like I said, I'm always going to keep it a family show. And like I said, it's always truly different. And you got Chumley, who's one of the funniest people alive.
Yeah,
So
I enjoyed talking to him when I was on your podcast, so I enjoyed talking to him. Well, look, I'm glad. How many more seasons are you gonna do?
as long as they keep on paying me, as long as they keep on paying me, and as long as I'm still having fun doing it, I'll keep on doing it forever.
And again, I think I'm surprised more people don't get into the pawn shop business. Like, as opposed to a bank where you lend money and then you have to sue someone to collect the collateral. Here, you just keep the collateral.
That's right.
It's such
It's
a
a little
great
bit more
model.
complicated. There's a lots of stuff you need to know or you get burned. But like, yeah,
How hard security? Because people might rob the place.
I'm like way different than most pawn shops. I have 6 security guards here all the time, so they're all armed. So don't try and rob me.
Okay, this whole purpose was to kind of like check out the place and see if how
Yeah.
I could rob you, but I'll clearly won't
All
do
right.
it.
Good.
Well, Rick, thanks so much. I really enjoyed everything you've done over the years, and now your podcast, Pawn After Dark. Such a pleasure to listen to it, and particularly to be on it. Thanks for coming on my show. Keep on doing what you do,
All right.
and
Thanks a
I'm
lot,
gonna
man.
go
I
out there. I'm
appreciate it.
gonna buy some old money.
All right. Sure. I need the money.
I need the old money.
All right.